I came home early that day, a silly surprise gift tucked under my arm. I remember smiling to myself, thinking about the look on his face. The house was quiet, which was strange for a Tuesday afternoon. I called out his name once, twice, but the only answer was the sound of my own voice echoing in the hallway. I kicked off my shoes and walked towards our bedroom, the floorboards creaking a familiar song. I was still holding the gift, a first edition of his favorite book that I had spent weeks hunting down. The bedroom door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open, a cheerful greeting already forming on my lips. And then, I saw it. The world didn't just stop. It fractured into a million tiny, sharp pieces. There he was, the man I had promised my forever to, in our bed. But he wasn't alone. Another woman was with him, tangled in the sheets I had just washed that Sunday. For a second, my brain refused to process the image. It was like watching a movie, a scene from someone else's tragic life. My hand went limp, and the book slipped from my fingers, landing on the floor with a dull thud. That sound, that small, insignificant noise, was what broke the spell. It was real. This was my life. This was my husband. This was my bed. The shock hit me like a physical blow, stealing the air from my lungs. A cold wave washed over me, starting from my toes and creeping up until my entire body was numb. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I could only stare as my reality rearranged itself into a nightmare. Every memory, every shared laugh, every whispered promise we'd ever made suddenly felt like a lie. How long? That was the first coherent thought that managed to cut through the fog. How long had this been going on? Was she the first? Were there others? My mind raced, trying to find clues, replaying conversations, searching for signs I must have missed. The late nights at the office, the sudden business trips, the way he'd started guarding his phone. It all clicked into place with horrifying clarity. He finally noticed me standing there, a ghost in the doorway of our life. His eyes widened, a flicker of panic, then something that looked like guilt. The other woman scrambled to cover herself, her face a mask of shame and fear, but I barely saw her. My gaze was locked on him. The silence in the room was deafening, thick with betrayal. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to unleash the storm of rage and pain that was building inside me, but all that came out was a whisper, a broken, trembling sound. "What did you do?" He started to speak, stammering apologies, excuses, a torrent of words that meant nothing. He said it was a mistake, that it didn't mean anything. A mistake. Building a secret life is not a mistake. Lying to the person you vowed to love and protect is not a mistake. It's a choice. A series of choices made over and over again. His words were just noise, static in the face of the monumental wreckage he had created. The woman, she just sat there, silent, looking anywhere but at me. I wondered if she knew he was married. Did she care? In that moment, she was just a symptom of the disease being his deceit. I finally found my voice, and it was colder than I ever thought possible. I asked him to get dressed. I asked her to leave my house, my home, the place that was supposed to be my sanctuary, now tainted and foreign. She couldn't get out of there fast. Enough, gathering her clothes, avoiding my eyes as if my pain was contagious. She scurried past me, a thief in the night, stealing more than just a man. She stole my peace, my trust, my belief in the life we had built. As the front door clicked shut behind her, the silence returned, heavier and more suffocating than before. Now it was just the two of us, standing in the ruins of our marriage. He stood there, fully dressed now, looking like a stranger in his own home. He tried to approach me, his hands outstretched, but I flinched back as if he were on fire. "Don't touch me," I said, my voice shaking with a fury I didn't know I possessed. "Don't you dare touch me." The betrayal was a physical thing, a chasm that had opened up between us, too wide to ever cross again. All the love I had for him curdled into something ugly and painful. I looked at him, really looked at him, and I didn't recognize the man staring back at me. Who was he? Who was this person I had shared my deepest secrets and dreams with? I started asking questions, my voice gaining strength with each one. How long? Who is she? How many times? I needed to know. I needed to understand the full scope of the deception. The truth, no matter how brutal, was better than the lies I had been living. He confessed, piece by agonizing piece. The story came out. It had been going on for months. She was a colleague from work. It started with lunches, then drinks, then this. Each word was another stab to my already bleeding heart. He cried, he begged for forgiveness. He said he loved me and that he was scared of losing me. The irony was suffocating. He was scared of losing me, yet his actions were a guarantee that he already had. Love isn't just a feeling. It's a commitment, it's respect, it's honesty. He had violated every single one of those principles. Forgiveness felt like an impossible mountain to climb. How do you forgive someone who shatters your trust so completely? How do you rebuild a home on a foundation of lies? I looked around the room at the pictures on the wall of us smiling, on vacation, on our wedding day. They all seemed like photographs of strangers, a different life, a lie I had been tricked into believing. I told him I needed space, I needed to think. I walked out of the bedroom, leaving him standing there amidst the wreckage. I packed a small bag, my hands moving on autopilot. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop. I didn't know where I was going, just that I couldn't stay there, not one more second. As I walked towards the front door, he stood in the hallway, pleading with me not to go. He said we could fix this, fix this. Some things, once broken, can't be fixed. They can only be left behind. The trust was gone, the respect was gone, and without those, what was left of our love? I opened the door and stepped out into the afternoon sun. The world outside was exactly the same as it had been an hour ago, but my world had been irrevocably altered. I took a deep breath, the air feeling fresh and clean after the toxicity of that house. I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know how I was going to heal from this profound wound. But as I closed the door behind me, I knew one thing for certain. I was choosing me, my sanity, my dignity, my future. The road ahead would be painful and long, but it would be my own. And for the first time in a long time, I felt a tiny, fragile glimmer of hope. The hope that I could survive this. The hope that one day I would be whole again. If you have ever felt this kind of heartbreak, please know you are not alone. It can feel like your world is ending, but it's often the beginning of a new chapter. Reaching out to friends, family, or a professional therapist can make all the difference. Taking that first step to talk about it is a sign of incredible strength. Thank you for listening to this story. Please take care of yourselves and each other.